Hello, and today my name is Duran Master, and I'm going to be talking about what is AI, machine learning, is it a threat or the greatest thing ever? So let's just get cracking into this. First of all, we need to define intelligence to understand the I in AI. AI actually is got specific intelligence, which it means that it's focused on a single narrow task, playing chess, image recognition. It doesn't have generalized intelligence beyond its specialty area. It's got limited ability to transfer learning from one domain subject to another. Things like Deep Blue, Alexa, and driverless cars. General intelligence, however, has discerns meaning. It has broad capabilities across many intellectual domains. It can create something from nothing, like Michelangelo. Can apply knowledge learned in one domain to another. Constructs new theories and models the world around it. That general intelligence does not currently exist, and part of the reason is that general intelligence itself is very rare. So you'll see here is these are the people that I believe had general intelligence. And we don't know what made Aristotle different and Aristotle and what made Albert Einstein. And this is very rare in humans. It's 1 in 100 million. And we don't know what it is that makes people give them general intelligence. The reality is that most of us, most of the time, are only using specific intelligence, and that's what AI has. So the dystopian movies, Terminator, Skynet, etc., it's nowhere near it because we don't know what this general intelligence really is. We don't know what creates it. So back to AI, which is specific intelligence, and machine learning. How's that fit in? Well, AI is a theory and development of computer systems able to perform tasks normally requiring human intelligence. That's what AI is. And within that is ML, machine learning, which gives the computers the ability to learn without explicit programming. And you're wondering, how can that be? Well, I'll show you in a second. I'll kind of try and explain it. There's a lot of maths that go behind it. But it's still using lots of mathematical models, statistical techniques, matrices, etc. So it uses algorithms, but it learns in a slightly different way. It learns by kind of trial and error. And then you've got deep learning, which is a subset of machine learning. So what types of machine learning are there? Well, there's a kind of, you have all this kind of scatter plot and you're asking it, what's the best fit line? And you can use that, and that uses statistical techniques to create the slope of the line that kind of minimizes the error. Those of you who are stats nerds will know what that means. And you can use a line to make predictions, or you can use it to how many dots are above the line, are you above the line or below the line, and that's a classification problem. You can use a different type of cluster, is called k-means clustering. It's a way of grouping things that are similar, and it's typically used to do market segmentation. So you've got a yellow segment, a green segment, etc. It can create a decision tree. So some of you must have played that game, 20 questions, where somebody has to ask 20 questions. You have to guess who you are, whether you're Darth Vader or a carrot. And you ask questions like, are you fictional? Are you living, etc., etc., etc. And so in decision trees, computers can actually work out the questions that they need to ask to get to the answer. And sometimes these trees can be 100 levels deep, meaning they're asking 100 questions, not just 20 questions. And then you've got deep neural networks, and this is trying to mimic the way that our brains are wired. And you've got all these perceptrons. And this is used to figure out image recognition and voice recognition. And the most latest thing, which was developed in 2017 by a paper called Attention, and it's all about transformers. And I'll talk about that in a bit more detail in a second. So here's the history of AI, 1950 to 2017. And so 1915 started off with Alan Turing, and then in 1956 the term artificial intelligence was first coined. A paper expounded machine learning in 1963, and the first chatbot was hard-coded, I think it was in Fortran, but I might be wrong there, called Eliza. And it was able to have a very rudimentary conversation. Then there was not much happened for quite some time. Then in 1997, IBM coded a computer program called Deep Blue, and it beat Kasparov, the then world chess champion, and that was a huge thing. Then in 2011, during the early 2000s, that's when neural networks started to develop, partly because of the advances in processing technology and and chips that were able to do multi-core processing and do all these matrix calculations very quickly. And IBM's Watson beat won Jeopardy, and there's a YouTube video on that. And then in 2012, only 11 years ago, that was the first time that an algorithm was able to figure out whether there was a cat in the picture or not. And you'd think, well, that's not a big deal, but it was a big deal back then. And then in 2016, 7 years ago, a deep neural network, a DNN, developed by DeepMind, a part of Google, developed something called AlphaGo, which beat the then world Go champion, a Korean chap. And there's a video on YouTube that's worth watching there. And that brings us up to 2017. And in 2017, there was a paper called "Attention is All You Need," and it was developed by people in the Google Research Labs. And this transformer and large language model works together. So a large language model is basically, think of it as a sophisticated library of books, and the GPT is basically trained on about 8 million pages. And think of it as the transformer finds a way to create a very, very sophisticated library card. In this case, got 760 items on the library card. And it uses that library card to know exactly where every single piece of information in that huge library is like. And so the transformer is a librarian, and the librarian uses this library card system to find the right information. And now the librarian he's only got access to its set of books or library, and this is where some of the controversy has come across, is like what's in that library. Because obviously if it's accurate stuff and well-researched stuff, then it's going to come up with the right answers. If it's full of rubbish, then it's going to come up with rubbish answers. There could be biases in the books and the stuff that are on there, and that's what people are somewhat worried about. And so what's happened since 2017? This is 2017, and each of these represents a different large language model, a different library. And you can see that there are so many. So back in the day, the first one, and you've got lots of different ones. So you've got OpenAI, they've created ChatGPT. You've got Metaverse, that's our friends Mark Zuckerberg and friends created Llama. Then Google created Bard, BERT, Palm, Lambda. They've created quite a few. And Anthropic split away from that, so Claude. So there are lots of different libraries out there. Lots of different large language models, and they're all slightly different, and the way that they index is also very slightly different as well. And so they're all plowing a lot of money into this because the stakes are very high. And how is this developed? It's just been absolutely phenomenal. So remember I told you about these index cards? Well, you can think about where there were 50 million index cards in the first library, the large language model, and that was Bard, mid-2017. And you think, wow, that was a lot. Yes, it was, but it isn't. Because Google just recently launched something which has got 1.6 trillion library cards, parameters. And it's just absolutely staggering the rate at which it's developing. And this model here is incredibly sophisticated and can do, is a much more sophisticated librarian, as it were. So the first librarian was quite basic. Even that was quite amazing. But this librarian is really quite awesome. So what are the ways that AI could benefit humanity? Well, you could have AI. Every child could have their own personalized, interactive, personalized tutor. So every child on this planet could reach their full potential. It could figure out how to use micro farming and get away from this intensive farming methods, and use the Internet of Things to create micro farming and heal Earth and grow abundant food. It could help eradicate all illness through advances in biochemistry. Some of that is already happening. It could figure out how to make fusion energy work, which is smashing two hydrogen atoms together, and the byproduct of fusion is helium. So we could have free energy and helium to put in our balloons and have a party. So AI really is like most things. It's a tool, and it's like a hammer. A hammer is a great tool for hammering nails, but but in the hands of an idiot, it can turn into a lethal weapon. So similarly with AI, is how you use it and knowing what it can and cannot do, and that's really what the issue is. Now, isn't this going to change things? Yes, it is. But you know, we're already having change. In 1800, 73% of the UK workforce was in agriculture. 2010, it was 1%. In fact, a lot of the change had already happened by 1900s. You know, only about 35% of the UK workforce in agriculture because of the Industrial Revolution. And I right now only 0.5% of people are employed in AI, ML, and cloud. But by 2050, I think it could be as much as you know, more than 30%. And so this change is going to happen. As to whether it's that quick, it takes slower, I don't know. But it's definitely going to happen. And you know, the workforce has always been changing in its composition. So here are some things that you could do. You could try out different large language models, Llama, OpenAI, Bard, Claude, Anthropic, and see how they respond to different prompts. You could look at explainer videos on YouTube. You could look at Watson playing Jeopardy, and you could look at that AlphaGo video I talked about. You could sign up and take a few Google Cloud courses in AI and ML if you wanted a bit more technical description. And if you really wanted to get into the world of cloud and all of this stuff, you could take a course and sign up to be an AWS cloud practitioner. I hope you enjoyed that video. Do see my other video on ChatGPT and what can you do with it. Thank you. I know that was really very quick. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for paying attention. Cheerio for now. Bye.